Okay, so if this is top to bottom, that right there is the key point. Okay. And you identify it because this is the valley and the point where the contour lines open up. That is where the key point is. And above the key point, the valley is steeper than the ridges. Below the key point, the ridges are steeper than the valley. So there's actually a key point out here as well. It's right there. That's the ridge key point. And this line that we're going to do in orange now, that is the key line. Now if we did a cross section through this, it would look like this. And right there is the key point. It is the humid landscape profile. You can see it in here. Right here, it's steep. Like if we followed, and so if you follow this out, this gets shallower, and then below that it gets steeper. You see the change? Can anybody not see it? That's the change. Now, above this, it is very difficult to, above the key line, it's very difficult to run a tractor. It's too steep. Below it, you can run a tractor. And Yeoman identified the key point because if this is our landscape, it is the highest practical place to store water. The Keyline design system is a gravity-fed design system. And so if we want to store water there and we want to build a dam, what we do is we take this material, it's in the hole that I compacted, we take that material, let's pull a bit here.
Did you say it's the highest?
It's the highest practical point to store water in the landscape for a very good reason. Is that above that, you see this steepness right here? That's not even a proper way to build a dam. That's too steep and there's a chance that it's going to slump in. And so if you go up higher, in order to get your right angles, you have to move so much more earth because it's just too steep and won't handle it. And so you get that little dam there, and I'm going to compact it down so it'll hold water. We'll talk more about proper dam construction in a couple days. Got our dam there. That's the highest practical point to store water. Now, does anybody see how is this going to fill with water?
Well, from all of the area above.
All the area above?
Yeah.
So remember, water travels at right angles to contour.
Yeah.
So we get that hose on again. Look at the water over there is not getting into the dam. Only the water above gets into the dam. So if you're in an area of very low rainfall, you actually don't have that large a catchment. Okay, so above the dam, Yeoman put in diversion drains. And the diversion drain, because you don't want erosion, goes out slightly off contour. It's not a swale. It's slightly off contour.
And it goes down the slope or up the slope?
Well, the water is always going to flow down the slope, but it'll come off contour up this way. So he would dig this little diversion drain, or this is what's part of the system, this little diversion drain.
To reduce erosion.
That, yeah, very slight. Now it's falling at 1 to 500. Okay, so for every 1 meter it falls down, so if this change in elevation from here to here is 1 meter, this needs to be 500 meters long. So it's a very, very gradual slope to minimize erosion. So now, watch what happens. We get that hose on there. You get that hose on there, and it doesn't matter even if it's raining over there in the other valley, it runs down that diversion drain and fills the dam. Okay, so you would have a diversion drain there, get water into the dam, and of course the dam has to have a spillway. Okay. So in the pastures below, actually below the dam in general.
Sorry, it's okay.
The shallower slopes. Now he was really concerned with grazing management because he knew that perennial grasses were the way to go. Right? There's nothing new about what we're talking about, it's just that we haven't, humanity unfortunately hasn't acted on its knowledge. Only acted on a fraction of its knowledge, which is about the accumulation of wealth and power. There's a lot more knowledge out there that's beyond the accumulation of wealth and power, but we only seem to act on that one.
Oh, how'd you get out? Yeah, nobody.
Below the dam,
Off you go, bud.
What he would do is he would have his irrigation ditch. So diversion drain above and an irrigation ditch below. And the irrigation ditch was also
Down.
off contour. You're right, we're missing connection. There is a connection point. Anyways. And what he would do is, because now we've got this water stored here, and the trick is, how are we going to access it?
Yeah.
And that's where the only piece of pipe in his whole system ever came in. Okay? He would run a piece of pipe through the bottom with a great big gate valve, and that would flood water out, and then he'd block it like that, and the water would flood over this edge, and then below that he would keyline plow it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Catch it.
Now remember, contour lines are not parallel, but tractor implements are, so you have to run off contour. So he would run off contour from the valley to the ridge. So when water went into the keyline cut, it would flow along the keyline cut downhill out to the ridges, thereby making the landscape